Perfect, thank you very much for joining me. Yes, my name is Sean and you're watching MLS Does Predictions Ireland thing does. Wait, what week? 19? Stay tuned. Perfect, yes, my name is Sean and if you're new to this, hit that subscribe button. You know, I'm on 1217 or 1, whatever it is. I'm doing quite well, which is more impressive than I actually expected that I would do. So if you're new to that, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. These are my predictions. If you are, have you seen these things before? Which is, thank you very much for returning. You must be thinking I'm talking a lot of sense, so I don't know if that's your fault or my fault, but anyway, one or two. It's one of our two of our faults. So yeah, off to a great start. So yep, these are my predictions. If you are new to this or if you have been watching before, there's been a lot of you haven't been subscribing who've been watching. So I'm kind of on you, don't even know who you are. So every time I keep starting this, I always say I'm going to get into it quickly and then try give you all that kind of stuff, give you the information that you're probably here for, and then basically bail. So obviously, get into the first game, which is San Jose Earthquakes against the Vancouver Whitecaps. So Vancouver, who drew their last 4 games, which isn't too bad. They're starting to get into the things. They've drew their last 4 games away from home, whereas Earthquakes actually won their last game at home, which was I believe it was a good result for them. That was against LAFC. Yep. So a pretty good, solid result for them, even though LAFC aren't in their stride anymore. So saying that, coming up against a Vancouver team who are drawing, they aren't scoring that many goals. So I kind of went for a 2-1 win to San Jose, just for the fact that they are at home and they're probably on a better rich reign of form, and they're at home. And Vancouver hasn't won a game away from home. So that's my thinking. The next one is Minnesota against LA Galaxy. Now Minnesota, who are not doing too bad. They're mid-table around 11th, whereas Galaxy are 4th. So not too bad. LA Galaxy now are... Minnesota, out of the last 4 games at home, won their last 3, which is pretty impressive. Whereas LA Galaxy have lost 2 out of the last 4, which isn't all that great for a team that you were suspecting, who are 4th in the league, and you would have been expecting them to do a hell of a lot better. Now this is LA Galaxy's first game away from home in the last 3, because their last 3 games were at home, and they played Vancouver, which was a 1-1 draw. So Vancouver are capable of getting good results in these things, as I say. So even though I think they're going to get beat. But anyway, Minnesota against LA Galaxy. I think this one could be a tricky one. I'm going for like a 1-1 draw. I think LA Galaxy is going to get another 1-1 draw in this one. Minnesota are a very good team at home. They've won their last 3. I just think this game, they're not scoring many goals away at home. So I think this is going to be probably one of those where they're not going to really get this one over the line. They have scored 1-0 and they scored 1 and a 2 and then a 2 against Houston Dynamo. So yeah, I'm going to go for like a 1-1 draw on that one. I think LA Galaxy have a better team perhaps, but it's going to be a good result for Minnesota. The next one is FC Montreal against New York Red Bull. Now this one was a wee bit tricky. Montreal I think they've only lost the 1 at home, even though that they've been technically not at home for a lot of it. Whereas New York Red Bull have, I think, only won the 1 away from home. So coming into this one, I went for another 1-1 draw, just for the fact is Montreal are good and Red Bulls are goodish. It is a tricky one where I kind of went for like a 1-1. It was a very difficult one for me. I think New York Red Bull have the capability of scoring a goal, whereas Montreal have yeah, you know what I mean. I think it's going to be like a 1-1 draw. It could possibly be a Montreal win, but I think New York Red Bull can get a wee goal in this one, where it'll probably frustrate Montreal and it'll be 1-1. The next one is New York City against Inter Miami. Now Inter Miami now have won 2 of the last. They won their last game there, which was a pretty impressive result. They beat Nashville 2-1, which I kind of predicted not to happen. Saying that, They're playing against a New York City SC team who played last night. I can't remember what their score was, but they're actually doing quite well in their last 8. They've drew off their last 2, and then all that kind of stuff. And they're free after that. But at home, they're pretty good, and they've won out of the last 4. They've won them all, so that's pretty impressive. Whereas Inter Miami have drew and then lost their last 3 out of their last 4. So coming into this one, New York City probably are on the better rich reign of form, even though they played some stupid League Cup thing tonight or last night. So I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win to New York City, just for the fact is they are a better team. I know Higuain's starting to get into things, but I don't think has he ever played in a baseball stadium? I don't think so. I think New York City may have the capability of winning this one. So yeah, I'm going for like a 2-0 win. The next one is Toronto against New England Revolution. Toronto, they're starting to pick their game up. They're not losing as much in their last 6 games home and away. They've only lost the 1. They've drew a lot, but they only lost the 1. At home, they've drew the last 4 at home, whereas New England, out of the last 4, they drew 1 and won the last 3. So coming into this one, New England are the better team and they're in better form. So I went for, what did I go for? I went for a 2-2 draw. Yep. I can't remember why I went for a 2-2 draw. I think Toronto, as I said, are capable of getting the draw in this one. I'm not. There's a part of me not digging what New England can probably do in this one. So I went for like a 2-2 draw, and I may regret that one. What do you think? Put in the predictions in the comments below. See what you think, and I'll have a wee discussion with you later on. So yes, that's how we do it. Yeah, like, comment, share. The next one is FC Dallas against Sporting Kansas City. FC Dallas now, who I did suspect to be beating Austin last week, which I did get quite right. I think I got the scoreline right, maybe, I don't know. It was 2-0 anyway against Austin. It was a pretty good result. Now, Sporting Kansas City, who drew their last game against Colorado Rapids away from home, and this is going to be another game away from home. They're 3rd on the trot. So basically, I think this one could be a tricky one, but I suspect Sporting Kansas City could probably get the win in this one. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Sporting Kansas City. They are probably the better team. They've won more games on the road than Dallas have at home. It's the same in their last 4. They've only drew both. Dallas has only drew the 1 out of 3 out of the 4, and they've won 3. Whereas the same as Sporting Kansas City drew and won 3. I know it's a sore head. I get these all the time when I think. So yeah, I went for like a 2-1 win. The next one is Houston Dynamo against Colorado Rapids. Colorado, who are not doing too bad. They drew their last game, which was against Sporting Kansas City, as I was saying. Again, coming into this one against Houston, who are not doing too great, and they haven't won a game in the last 8. At home, they are in the last 4. They've only won the 1, whereas Colorado Rapids has won 2 and lost 2. So this could be a tricky one, but I went for a 3-1 win to Colorado, just for the fact is they're a better team. I'm not overly convinced by Houston at this moment in time. They are shipping in a lot of goals at this moment. So yeah, I went for like a 3-1 win to Colorado Rapids. It could possibly be like a 2-1 win, but I think Colorado should really win this one. The next one is Real Salt Lake against Austin. Real Salt Lake now, who are 16th, and Austin is 23rd. Austin, 2 of these teams that are really coming into form, whereas I think Real Salt Lake have the capability of scoring more goals. So their goal scoring record at home is far better than Austin's away from home. But I think Austin could actually get a wee result in this one. So I went for like a 1-1 draw, just for the fact that Austin are starting to score goals, if that's a kind of word to say. I know they haven't scored many goals away from home, but I think they can get a 1 in this one because they're coming up against a Real Salt Lake team who, as I said, they've scored and they conceded 20 in 17 games, so it's not too bad, but they're capable of conceding. So I went for a 1-1 on that one. The next one is Atlanta against LAFC. Now, Atlanta, who have now, I believe, have a head coach, the assistant from Seattle, which isn't a bad shout. A player, well, a manager or a coach who knows the league and could probably come into this one. Now, this is where I made these predictions kind of around before, obviously, before all this news, before recording it. So I went for a 2-2 draw. I suspect Atlanta could possibly win this, the new manager honeymoon kind of job thing, whatever happens. But I'm still going to go for like a 2-2 draw. Atlanta at home are capable of scoring goals, but they're capable of completely wrecking it. And whereas LAFC are the exact same. So two teams are perfect for each other. So so in their last 2 games, Atlanta have lost 2 at home, whereas LAFC have lost 2 away from home. They're not good. So 2-2. I went for the next one is Chicago Fire against Columbus Crew. Now Chicago Fire kind of surprised me last week by beating New York Red Bulls. I think I can't remember how to draw. I think I had to draw, and they're coming up against Columbus Crew team who are now starting to slip a bit. They got beaten by Atlanta, and then they got beaten by DC United 4-2, and then New York City beat them the time before that. These two teams coming into this one have a kind of a similar form. They've drew 2, 1-1, and lost 1, so it was a pretty tricky one to figure out. But I think Chicago Fire are probably coming into this one a bit more confident. So I went for like a 2-1 win to Chicago Fire. For some reason, I don't know what's wrong with Columbus Crew this season. So I think Chicago Fire, even though that they are struggling themselves, I think they can probably get this one over the line. So a 2-1 win. The second last one now is Nashville against DC United. I've got an itchy nose, so that means someone's going to be fighting with me in the comments. So Nashville against DC United. Now Nashville lost their second game, and that was to Inter, which was a bit of a shock. Again, it was away from home, but still. And now they're coming up against the DC United team, who are actually doing quite well. They are 10th in the league, and they're doing actually quite well. They're not so great away from home, whereas Nashville haven't lost a game away from home. They drew probably half and one half of their games, so I went for like a 1-1. I think Nashville are capable, as I said, of getting a 1-1 draw. I think DC United have it in them to get a goal, but I'm just not 100% sure on who, on what times. I think Nashville probably will get the first goal, and then DC United will try to get into the game and then probably score a goal near the end. So I went for a 1-1. And now the last one is another Cascadia Derby, or Cup, whatever it is. Portland against Seattle. Seattle Sounders now are finally having their players back. They had a good game against Tigres over the week. I think it was like a 3-0 win. Pretty impressive. Sporting Kansas City got beat 6-1. And what did they? No. Anyway, they're coming up against Seattle are coming up against a Portland team who are all over the place. They are at home. I would suspect their Eric's going to be at that game. Eric, well done. I know he watches this. Does he fuck? So coming into this one, it is a tricky one to figure out because Portland are actually not doing too bad at home. I think they've only lost the odd few and drew probably 1 or 2 at home, whereas Seattle away from home are kind of similar. So this was a trickier one. I think I went for a Seattle 2-1 win just for the fact that Seattle have their players back. This is a game that probably counts for them to really get their mojo back. Yeah, I'm going to go for that word. So I went for a 2-1 win. It's going to be a good game. It is going to be on very, very, very late here, so I may not be able to watch it, but I'll hope to see the highlights the next day. So those are my predictions. I only stood here for 14 minutes, so pretty impressive. So, wow. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next one. So, bye now.